Folks, this was my favorite Dragon Ball Super manga chapter that I've ever read from the beginning. I'm starting the review off with that. We're talking about manga chapter 43, which is the second chapter in the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, and now we have a lot of information about what's going to happen going forward in this arc. But I just want to say that I have been very critical of the Dragon Ball Super manga, and I can tell that Toyotaro was not really invested emotionally in the last few arcs, especially the Tournament of Power. But this arc right here is exactly what I thought we were going to get from Dragon Ball Super when we first heard about the 12 universes and how they were going to kind of start off the series. We're getting a sense of adventure in this manga chapter. We're getting a sense of backstory. This manga chapter was my favorite because it gave you everything. There was comedy with Jocko, there was some fun Goku and Vegeta stuff, but they weren't the centerpiece of this chapter. This chapter was all about the lore, which I love Dragon Ball lore, and I've been wondering where the hell the lore has been, and now the lore is back. The past, how the gods interacted with the Galactic Patrol, and sort of this new villain that seems to be the most terrifying character that they've ever faced off against, because he has unique abilities that other characters like, you know, Broly, Jiren, and Toppo do not have, according to what we're seeing here. This is a true threat, and I'm really enjoying that. The manga chapter felt like it was something new, something fresh. They were going in new directions. And granted, I wish they would go into one of the other universes. Still, like, even though it's Universe 7, it's new lore. It feels like an adventure. And I've been waiting for this from Dragon Ball Super. And this manga chapter was so much fun to read. I had a blast. So, okay, check it out. So the first third of this manga chapter, the first section of it, and by the way, I cannot show you the manga. I don't want to risk getting copyright struck like what happened in September, so I cannot actually show it to you, but it is on Viz's website. This is just my review of it, okay? That's why it's going to be one picture, because I can't actually show you the manga until I get my approval from Viz. So just letting y'all know. But anyways, back to the review. The first third of this manga chapter is pretty much all like backstory, and it chronicles the battle between the Grand Supreme Kai and Moro. And Moro, we find out that he's a planet eater, that he has the ability to absorb the life energy of planets. I don't know if it's actually Genki, like what Goku uses to absorb energy for the Genki Dama, the spirit bomb, or something else, but it appears like he can actually take all the life energy from the planet and absorb it and eat it. So he's kind of like a twisted version of Galactus and Unicron, and I love it. Like this new direction Toyotaro's taken the manga, which I've been very critical of him, like I said, is absolutely a breath of fresh air. It feels like some of the Cosmic Marvel stuff where you have like the patrol working with the gods, and you have this character who the gods pretty much put Moro in the hands of the Galactic Patrol. But what ends up happening is they were going to do the death penalty, but nobody's strong enough to kill him, so they just imprisoned him. Now, what I don't understand is how the heck they were able to imprison him. That sounds a little bit weird. Maybe I missed it in the manga chapter. I don't think that I did, but that's pretty much what happens. And basically, the Grand Supreme Kai uses his god power, his divine energy, to seal him, to basically steal his magic. So the Grand Supreme Kai takes his magic away from him in the flashback scenes, but Moro is still physically powerful. You know, and they say that nobody could actually kill him, so instead he was given a life imprisonment. So that was 10 million years. So the whole story here is that they want to get Majin Buu so that they can essentially, you know, take the great Lord of Lords, the Dai Kaioshin, the Grand Supreme Kai, and figure out a way to talk to him or to extract him. Because it actually says our only hope is to somehow extract the great Lord of Lords ability from within Majin Buu. So it might not be that they're going to extract him, but they might take his powers out of him. And maybe Majin Buu will have some screen time. Maybe we'll see Buu actually use these abilities to help Goku and Vegeta. I really hope we see that. One thing that I found cool about this manga chapter was the fact that Meerus got a lot of, time, got a lot of development here as the, I guess, narrator, or not really the narrator. He's not what he is. He's more so like the expository character. That's what he pretty much is. And I like that he's being played up to be this great hero. They had this like action sequence later on that was pretty cool with him in it. But it feels like, and again, I'm just speculating, I'm prognosticating. I'm not saying this is actually in the manga chapter or in the story, but I think he might actually be a traitor. I think he's not who he claims to be. But this manga chapter also had a lot of comedy too, with Goku meeting the octopus galactic king again, and Jocko being funny. Goku and Vegeta do get their Galactic Patrol outfits, which I thought was pretty cool. But essentially, they just write the symbol on their, like, Jocko tries to give it to him, but instead he just writes the galactic symbol on their gi. So I thought that was kind of cool and kind of funny. There was good Jocko stuff in this manga chapter, but pretty much the whole thing is they go to this planet called Planet Jung, and there's a crime going on right now, and this whole sequence was done, I guess, to illustrate Goku and Vegeta's first mission as Galactic Patrolmen, but also to show off what Meerus can do. Because the whole story is that these guys are building this planet-busting bomb, like a Death Star or something. I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars. A lot of an interesting Star Wars feel to this manga chapter. And I don't mean the bad Star Wars, I mean the good Star Wars. So they have, again, Meerus gets in there, and they have this kind of scene on top of this train that looks like the Matrix, like the second Matrix movie when they're on the freeway and they have that collision. It really reminds me of that, and they have this battle there. And the guy who he fights is named Pasta. So, and also it's funny because the dude who he fights, this Pasta guy, looks a lot like Legic from Dragon Ball GT. In fact, I have a feeling that there's a lot of GT inspiration here. We know that Toyotaro has been influenced by GT, so I'm not saying that that actually happened, but it seems that way. So they have this like movie-like chase sequence on a train with Meerus, and then Goku, Vegeta, and Jocko are also there, and they of course have to help. But it felt very grounded because it wasn't just a crazy key fight. It felt more like a cops and robbers type thing, and that was really refreshing for Dragon Ball. Again, I was stunned reading this manga chapter because it is my favorite one Toyotaro's ever done. I had so much fun reading it, and for the review, I actually read it twice. And I still loved it. I have been riding Toyotaro for pretty much a year and a half because of how badly he wrote the Tournament of Power and the Trunks arc having that weird ending and all the weird plot holes that he threw in there. But I don't know how much influence Toriyama has on this story. We know that Toriyama is helping out with this story, but it certainly feels like something new and something that could be from a new mind, like Toyotaro. If this is actually a story that he can kind of flesh out himself, it might be good, it might be bad, we'll see. So they have this sequence where pretty much Goku and Vegeta are just kind of sitting around, and the Galactic Patrol has these like rocket boots in their feet. So Meerus is, based on what I'm seeing here, he might be fast, but he might not be that strong, or at least that knowledgeable in ki energy. But it is pretty cool how his feet can kind of lift him, and he does this Iron Man type thing where he stops the train from going off the cliff. You know, again, very superhero-esque, this manga chapter. It felt really, really different. They're trying to get this stuff called the Blue Arm. Like, it felt like I'm watching a sequence from an Avengers movie, you know? And I thought that was interesting. Goku does get involved, though, and there's actually a scene in the movie where he goes up to the criminals and he tells them, "You're not getting away," and plasters his face onto the window. This is actually taken from a scene in Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but there's a very similar, if not identical, joke in Dragon Ball Super Broly with Goku doing the "You're not getting away." You know, and I thought it was really funny that Toyotaro incorporated that into the story. So by the end of the manga chapter, Vegeta pretty much surmises that he thinks that Meerus is hiding his true power. That even though it may seem like he's not that strong, Vegeta says that he thinks he's capable of... He thinks that... He's not sure if he can take on Moro, but he definitely is strong. You know, and he talks about how, you know, Meerus says that Moro is beyond anything that the patrolman can do. So it's got to be up to Goku and Vegeta. So the end of the manga chapter, Goku tries to search like the nearby areas, try to find Moro and try to like teleport to him or whatever, I suppose, or try to find him somewhere in space. It says sector KT-40, and he wants to just sense Moro's ki. And when he does, Moro can actually sense him back. And that's kind of the cliffhanger of the manga chapter, that Goku's mental powers and abilities to sense things and energy are really not enough for this guy. This guy, Moro, might not be as strong as Broly or Jiren, but he's definitely old, smart, and he has abilities that they may not be capable of, and thus he might end up being a very dangerous foe. And I, for one, am very excited because I want there to be a new kind of enemy like this, a new challenge for Goku and Vegeta that's not just, you know, strength. Also, people have been asking me, what do you think about the fact that, it's mostly Goku and Vegeta now? Because, Gohan and Piccolo don't even do anything anymore. And I think that, Dragon Ball Super should utilize its, side characters more. I really do think so. But I feel like ever since Resurrection F, it's been the Goku and Vegeta show. And that's pretty much how it is. So I do wish, though, that in later arcs, or maybe in this arc, they do involve other characters. But it looks like this arc's going to be a Goku, Vegeta, Jocko, and Meerus arc. And Meerus might even be a bad guy, so who knows. Anyways, that's it for my review. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know what you think in the comment section. Did you like Manga Chapter 43? I think it's my favorite. It's my favorite. If you disagree, that's cool. Let me know what your favorite is. Talk to you soon.